This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
So is that going to work? We're going to show you the whole commercial in a minute. That's Joe Biden's new ad against Donald Trump. They're calling him a convicted criminal. We're also going to show you the polling on whether it's going to work. So this is a very interesting strategy that they're using, one we expected, but whether it works is a different question. So Ben, you got the story.
All right. Usually commercials sell you stuff like energy drinks or medicine, but this ad is going to sell you a convicted criminal. President Biden's re-election campaign is escalating attacks against Trump over the former president's being found guilty on, just 34 felony counts, plus being found liable for sexual assault. And to top it off, financial fraud, the usual cherry on top for a former president. Biden is launching a new TV ad Monday as part of an enormous $50 million spend, a paid media campaign slamming Trump as, quote, a convicted criminal. Will it be effective? Take a look at the full ad and you be the judge.
In the courtroom, we see Donald Trump for who he is. He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found liable for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
I don't often say this, but I'm kind of torn on whether that is going to work or not. We do have some polling, as I said, but we're going to do one more poll. That's you guys. Is attacking Trump on his convictions going to work? Snap poll right now in the chat. If you're watching live, make sure you go vote. The live voters are a little bit more interesting than me. We have it up on YouTube community and other places as well. But go vote right now in the chat. But Ben's got more of the story for you.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
The 30-second spot will air in battleground states and on national cable television, marking the Biden campaign's first ad that tries to seize on Trump's guilty conviction on 34 felony counts in his New York criminal hush money trial last month. The ad, as you heard, also reminds you of Biden's efforts to lower healthcare costs and, quote, making big corporations pay their fair share, concluding with, quote, this election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for you and your family. The ad's rollout comes 10 days before the first presidential debate of the 2024 campaign, set for June 27th on CNN. By hitting Trump over his conviction, the Biden campaign risks further inviting attacks from Republican critics who argue Trump's prosecution was motivated by politics and the 2024 election. Trump campaign spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said in a statement, crooked Joe Biden and the Democrats weaponized the justice system against Trump, and this new ad once again proves the sham trial was always meant to be election interference, but Americans see through it. The contrast between Trump's strength and success versus crooked Joe Biden's weakness, failures, and dishonesty will be made clear on the debate stage next week, she said. I love how all of Trump's people have to use his own nicknames and terminology for people. It's very demeaning to them. Biden campaign communications director Michael Tyler stated, character matters, and the president of the United States should be someone who understands that the highest office in the land is about you and your family, not a vehicle to enrich yourself. That is the ethos Joe Biden puts into the job every day. I feel like they are misreading the tea leaves on what people want in their presidents these days, perhaps, but it does sound nice. Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee, was convicted last month of falsifying business records to hide a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential election. His sentencing date is July 11. Trump in January was also ordered by a Manhattan jury to pay advice columnist E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million for defaming her in 2019 when he denied her allegations of sexual assault. And the Trump Organization, Trump's real estate company, was found guilty in 2022 of tax fraud and other crimes. New York judge in February ordered Trump to pay a fine of $453.5 million with additional penalties against two of his sons for fraudulently overvaluing his real estate empire. Again, we have the poll up and you can weigh in, but Cenk, I'm curious for you to dive in more.
Yeah, so on the one hand, I think what we all think, which is MAGA's immovable, right? They're just gonna dig in more, the more he gets convicted. You could put 340 convictions on him and they'll want to vote for him more, not less. But what I keep reminding you guys and myself of is that that's not that relevant. They were going to vote for Trump no matter what. We have to get the independents and Republican-leaning folks to vote against Trump, right? Or Biden does, and I agree because I hate Trump. Okay, so I got mixed feelings about Biden, but I'm very clear on Trump. Now, having said that, is this the best path? Generally speaking, I think there are much better paths to go against Trump, but maybe independents do care about convictions, and that's why I've said before any of the polls came out, I don't know which way they're going to go this time. I really don't. So what do you think, Ben?
I really think it's something they had to do. I think it's a good strategy, but also how do you not do it? Imagine the meeting being like, let's not run ads about the convicted felon gift that fell in our lap. And like you said, it's not going to do anything to the Trump diehards. He really set the bigotry of low expectations very low when he himself many years ago famously said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose a supporter. Right, but are you gonna gain supporters by shooting somebody? I don't think so. Are you gonna gain supporters with felony convictions? I don't see people on the fence being like, I like a man who is found guilty in court. And so I think it is very likely to help keep moving some undecideds away from him. That early polling is already showing that to some degree. Things have tightened up a bit in Biden's favor. And I think that, again, how do you not do it? So even if it's to, in the long run, the detriment, I just think you have to do it. You have to gamble that because there's no way to know, because we don't have a history of knowing whether pressing a president on his presidential felony convictions will indeed hurt or help. This is uncharted territory, but I think you got to go for it. They are. We'll see how the chips fall.
Yeah, so you know what? First of all, one point you made is indisputable, which is you got to make an ad about it because, I mean, it falls in your lap. What are you going to not even mention it?
Right.
On the other hand, I think, yeah, but everybody already knows about the conviction. So then are you wasting money by doing the ad about something that everybody already knows? So then I thought, okay, maybe the right way to do the ad would have been, if he screws over Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen and E. Jean Carroll and people who went to Trump University and Trump Charity, etc. Are you sure he's not going to screw you over? Like that makes it more personal, right? And that connects the convictions, and whether it's the civil lawsuit or the criminal convictions, to how it might affect you. And that he might, remember, a con man is trying to gain your confidence so that he could betray it. And I think that if they drove towards that conclusion a little bit clearer, that it might help more. Because we already know the facts, but connected to how he's gonna screw over the voters, I think it's probably a little bit better way to go. But the early polling, it's been a little bit, not super clear because Biden was so far down and he hasn't caught up in the swing states yet, but the ad just came out. The convictions happened a little while ago. I don't think the ad's gonna move it as much as the convictions are, but there is one number that keeps popping up in each poll, and it's around 20%. Last poll was 21% of independents saying it is going to affect their vote against Trump. So if that was the only, now remember, there's other people saying it's gonna make me vote for more, right? Or well, you can't vote for him more, but meaning I'm more inclined to vote for him, right? But overall, it seems like it's netting out to about 21% of independents saying I'm less likely to vote for him. That's a pretty good number.
That's a pretty good number, and also, when the news covers the facts, as we know very well, mainstream media has a great tendency to muddy facts these days, and so they cover the thing, but then immediately there's people on both sides mitigating the effect of it. There's something very visceral in human brains and in American brains to seeing that attack ad with the convicted criminal across the screen $50 million worth of times over and over again, that I think could affect people's brains in a way that we've seen in past presidential history. These attack ads have been very effective. Michael Dukakis on a crime-related ad was torpedoed for releasing somebody else, a criminal, from just on a furlough, and then he committed a crime. This is the crimes from the former president himself. I think there's a good chance it moves the needle quite a bit more.
All right, so let's take a look at our polls on TYT.com. 44% said that attacking Trump on his convictions is going to work. 56% said it's not going to work. From YouTube community with over 700 votes, 44% same, 56% no. Twitch, 25% saying that it's going to work, 75% saying it's not going to work. That's interesting.
Wild.
And then again, YouTube chat, different than YouTube community, also over 700 votes. 42 saying that it's going to work, 58 saying not going to work.
Wow, similar percentages everywhere too.
Yeah,
except for the Twitch one.
Yeah, so that is interesting. Overall, people a little split as we are on it, but more people leaning towards it's not going to work. So we'll see.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.